Just a year ago, Gunna was sitting in a jail cell. Today, after snitching, he cemented himself as the MVP of hip-hop for this year. This may seem like a bold statement to make, but think about it. The last person that told was 6ix9ine, and his career would need a banned card like Monster Reborn to bring it back to life. Yet Gunna feels like he's not only doing better numbers than ever before, has better perception in the fans' eyes than ever before, but he's also done it all by himself, which is something that he has never done before. Let's take a quick rewind to just a year ago, January 2022 in particular. Gunna was at his peak. DS Forever was one of the biggest album rollouts and best album rollouts of the year, with the massively popular Push and P phrase as well as the song. The album selling 150K first week, and everyone loved it. He had a song with Drake, P Power with over 250 million streams to date. But just a couple of months later, that May, the RICO indictment on YSL came out and Gunna turned himself in. And they were stuck in jail, bond denied multiple times. And while the hype around YSL was the highest it had ever been, there was opportunity cost for Gunna. When you have the momentum he had after DS Forever, you have to stay outside, be seen, collaborate, tour. But all that had come to a close with no exact date or even idea of when or if he would be free. That was until he decided to take the Alford plea that got him released and out of jail or any risk of prison for the YSL RICO case. This is what people called snitching, in particular, this exact video clip.
And you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
The Alford plea, to give more context, is when a defendant can plead guilty to a charge while personally maintaining their innocence. Gunna states publicly that he has not given any information to the prosecutors and will not be aiding in their investigation. Immediately, many of the fans were split. It was 50-50 that he snitched or that he didn't, and that people needed to wait for what Young Thug had to say. The industry didn't say much either, for a long time, but slowly people began to distance themselves from Gunna. Young Thug's family members showed their disapproval, and Young Thug himself couldn't say something because he's fighting for his freedom and could be considered tampering or any number of other charges they could stick on him. Gunna was quiet for months. He came out with a BBL girl. His previous girlfriend Chloe Bailey had abandoned him when he got locked up. We had no idea what was going to happen. Was Gunna going to do an interview? Was he going to release a song addressing things? Was he going to just try and drop hits and pretend like nothing happened? Things were quiet for 5 months until he dropped his first music video and song since release, Bread and Butter, where he would finally speak on everything that happened with bars like, "Yeah, I'm right back and I lost mad commas. I've been down bad inside a dark tunnel. F them boys, I found out who my real partners and who was only with me because I had dollars." Gunna for sure lost a ton of friends or people in the industry while they were waiting on the supposed temperature check from the rest of the industry. Everyone wanted him on a feature just the 2 years prior though, and now he was going to see how real those friends he had were, which were few and far between. "Peepinish, I'm seeing news fallback. You hoes got me as a topic of the chat. You switched on me when you know you in business with a rat, and the boy that's like your brother ain't nobody speak on that." This was one of the most interesting reflections and call-outs on this song and album overall. The most likely culprit of this mention was Lil Baby, who has even admitted Gunna helped him start rapping and even wrote raps for him. Lil Baby's biggest song ever is with Gunna, not even Drake, Drip Too Hard, with over 1.3 billion streams on Spotify alone. But Lil Baby was very close to Young Thug and YSL, and he made it known, alongside Lil Durk, that they were not messing with Gunna anymore after he snitched. But the same year, months after Gunna told, Pierre Thomas, aka P, the CEO and co-founder of Quality Control, the record label that Lil Baby is signed to, was exposed for snitching, or cooperating with police in a murder investigation way back when, I think it was in 2010, with paperwork and everything. So it was fair for Gunna to call out something if the case was morals, when the decision that Lil Baby made was likely just based on PR. But to be fair, P has all the leverage over Lil Baby, so even if Lil Baby no longer messed with him on a personal level, he would at least have to deal with him on a business level until his deal with QC was over, which, if we look at the Migos lawsuit against them, was for life. I paid the lawyers all the mills for, just so I won't have to say a word to dodge a railroad. They find it hard to understand though. Never gave no statement or agree to take no stand on him. On whatever you want, trust me, I'ma stand on it. Lawyers and the DA did some sneaky stuff, I fell for it. Gunna tried to save it with this verse, but come on. We saw the exact video. Pretending like he got duped by some lawyers when he ended up with his freedom is hilarious, but Bread and Butter would peak at number 48 on the Hot 100 without much support from other rappers in the industry that would previously support his music. But to be fair, the song wasn't a hit. It was a great delivery, and many fans enjoyed it. Hell, even the people who cared about the Snitch and thought it was great too. So he delivered on his first song back, but now it was time for the album. Gunna would release A Gift and a Curse on June 16, 2023, with a song that would take off more than all the others, F You Mean, which was oddly similar to The Box, solely based on a ad-lib or sound that damn near tattooed the song into your mind. Other than that, they didn't sound anything alike. That song would become Gunna's highest charting solo song by a mile, peaking at number 4 on the Hot 100 and staying on the charts for 26 weeks and still in the top 50. It was arguably the song of the summer. The album itself was great. Even Gunna haters thought it was amazing. Gunna came with not only his usual assortment of different flows, and he's definitely the rapper in the mainstream industry, at least right now, with the biggest toolbox of different flows that he can pull out at any time. But we also finally got some substance out of Gunna. Think about it. The majority of the time we heard Gunna music, his life was good. He was making money, getting chicks, doing drugs, and smoking weed. And we just heard a ton of flexing. But for the first time in a very long time, he had to sit in a cage for months, then sit in a golden cage when he was free, out of sight of the majority of people for a couple of months while preparing for his next moves. This was done alone, without the love and adoration of both fans and his previous friends and peers. This cultivated the perfect formula for us to finally hear if there was a person capable of self-reflection in Gunna's head, and he delivered. Now, did the sales of the album do outstandingly well? First week? No, not really. Did 85,000 units, which is just a bit over half of the previous album sales. Some say there is no excuse since this was the comeback album, so everyone was going to check it out. But the thing that's more important than the first week is the longevity. The success of Fuck You Mean helped the album perform well week after week. Then there was the performance aspect. Gunna would do an arena show in the Barclays Center with a massive show out for his album performance, and he never did anything this big on his own ever before. On top of that, just look at this footage. One of the recurring memes about Gunna was how much he ate, how fat he was, and how oddly he fit in his high designer clothes. And now he was in great shape and lean. He was just catching W after W after W. But that's not enough for me to just give him MVP. He also hasn't really taken any career L's, even minor ones this year. He was the underdog of the year and came back with no support, no features, brute forcing his way back to the top with great music, and the narrative around him now is shifted. Yeah, there are still some people that, they have the issue with the snitching thing. Most probably still believe he's a snitch, but they don't care. They're fans of him, the music. The narrative isn't even about the snitching anymore. It's about how good his music is and how they're excited to hear what he drops next. One of those songs he experimented with this year was Afrobeats on the song This Year with Victor Thompson, the remix. And although I don't feel like Gunna really added much to the song, and I would have probably preferred it without him, I wouldn't have ever heard about it if he didn't appear on it. Yet, it was expanding his reach and out of his comfort zone, which is something I would like to see more of. And disregarding my opinion, a ton of people liked it as well. Unfortunately though, what I believe makes Gunna's year of success even more impressive is how the narrative completely shifted around Lil Baby. Lil Baby dropped an album last October, which did go number 1 and sold really well, but it was received poorly. The song Hey should have never left the studio, and many people thought the album was mid at best. But that's something you can recover from, right? Well, it depends. Lil Baby released a few singles this year, one of which was Go Hard in April that peaked at number 59, which is lower than both Bread and Butter and F You Mean. It didn't have staying power either, and then he released a song called Merch Madness, which I won't penalize Lil Baby for. This is somewhat the equivalent of doing a movie soundtrack. It was in collaboration with Mike Rubin's company Fanatics, which, yeah, get your bag, but not while you need to recover the public perception surrounding the quality and originality of your new music. He released a 2-pack recently. One of the songs, 350, was criticized by Kai Cenat, and if we just look at the majority of comments, there's a growing consensus among fans that Lil Baby is just making the same song. I call this the baby syndrome, or the DaBaby virus. And this isn't anything that's the fault of DaBaby or Lil Baby. This is when fans somehow start to notice this about a rapper, but they have to really just hit them with the virus because it's not all the way true. And even if it may be true, there are tons of other rappers that they listen to that do sound the same, but don't get this criticism. However, it developed. It's here, and Gunna is being praised while Lil Baby is trying to scramble and get the people back on his side. I'm not one to really ask about this, in all fairness. Back when Street Gossip came out, I felt like Lil Baby was just making the same music. This is not something I ever believed about DaBaby though. I thought Lil Baby was heavily overrated the entire time people were gassing him up as the best in the game, next up to Drake, the modern Lil Wayne run. So now it's no surprise to me that people feel this way because this is how I genuinely believed him to be rated the entire time. Gunna also did what 6ix9ine should have, which is not gloat and rub it in people's faces, but focus on great music. Give your perspective that people could potentially sympathize with your situation, and drop music. Gunna's story in 2023 is of someone who went from fighting for his freedom, losing every single industry rapper friend, the fans in limbo, pressure is on, you don't get a second chance to come back from something like this. And he delivered musically, in his image, with all of the lost weight, doing it solo, and at the same time, the man who had everything at his fingertips, Lil Baby, is scrambling trying to repair the narrative that's going against him right now, and it's just snowballing out of control. Who is another rapper in 2023 that has gone through adversity and come out at the tippy top to be crowned MVP? I don't believe there's another. But if you think there is, comment down below with who and why. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.